What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Jonathan, and welcome back to Sunnydale Live. Today, we're talking about episode 4 of season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Teacher's Pet. It's kind of the first Xander-centric episode. I mean, it's not full-on Xander episode like maybe the Zippo or whatever, but it is. He's kind of a driving force of this episode. I do love the first scene of this episode that just starts off with vampires attacking the bronze and Buffy's scared, very out of character, and then Xander shows up, saves the day, and Buffy's all damsel in distress, and Xander's like, I'm a cool rock star, I got you, babe, I'm gonna save you, and then perform a solo, and everyone's cheering, and it's just like, none of this makes sense. And then Buffy, while holding his hand and looking up at him dreaming, is like, you're drooling. You're drooling. And then he wakes up in the middle of class. Oh, Xander. This episode is the first to really drive in. He's a bit of a loser. He's not really popular. He's kind of an outsider. He goes to the bronze and he tries to wave to the guy performing. The guy's performing. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm on stage. Leave me alone. Other kids in his class are talking about how much they score. One of them is Blaine, the jock. He's important in this episode. And they just treat Xander like he's garbage. Utter garbage. No respect, no consideration, no human decency. It's kind of sad. And it really hammers in over and over again over the course of this episode. Xander's a loser. No one really likes him. It's kind of sad. The teacher where the class he was sleeping was biology, and that teacher actually really likes Buffy, expects great things from her. He's like, look, you've done some extraordinary things. Yes, they were bad, but if you did extraordinary bad things, you could do extraordinary good things. I have faith in you. You're gonna show. He's like, you're gonna show everybody that you're more than your record, that you have potential, and then you're gonna. And I expect you to live up to that potential. Really good teacher. So, of course, he immediately dies. Gets eaten by some kind of giant bug. Turns out to be a praying mantis called the she-mantis. Which is, right, Buffy, you got this. I got your back. We're going to do this together. And then immediately dead. Welcome to Sunnydale. What more do you want in this one Starbucks town? Ironically enough, over the course of the 7 seasons, we never see the Starbucks. Anywho. He immediately gets killed. The next day, they find out the teacher's missing. Buffy's really concerned. Giles complains about the California weather, which, as a displaced Californian, I'm just like, what? Why would you complain about it? It's beautiful and sunny and nice, not hot, not cold. It's paradise. Why are you complaining? I live in Texas. Every 5 minutes, a different weather. I leave the house and I have to wear a sweater because it's freezing cold. By the time I get to where I'm going, I should have been wearing shorts and a tank top because it's blazing hot. Weather here doesn't understand what it wants. It's insane. And you're complaining about California weather? What the hell's wrong with you? I would kill to be back in California with that weather. Ungrateful. Just ungrateful. Miss Callie. Anywho. Moments later, we meet Miss French. Turns out to be the she-mantis. And Xander falls head over heels. She asks Xander for help, and he's like, "It's that class. I go there like every day. It's He looks at Buffy and we're like, where's it at? And Buffy's just like, and then Blaine swoops in, all smooth and suave, and takes her right to class. And Xander's just like, God damn it. She immediately teaches them about praying mantises in class, which is just like, why? Why are you teaching them about yourself? Isn't that a little weird? But, you know, she asked for volunteers, and every guy in the class, immediately their hands raised. Buffy immediately doesn't trust her. This later that night, Angel meets Buffy. Xander and Willow see him for the first time. Xander's immediately jealous. And he tells Buffy about a vampire with like a hook for a hand. So then the next day, Cordelia finds the teacher's head in a freezer, which or like body in a freezer or something like that. And it's just like, she screams, freaks out. And so when Buffy's trying to get to class, Okay, there's a lot happening, but I just want to talk about Cordelia for a moment. The next day, after Buffy that night goes and does stuff, we'll go back to the next day. Buffy's forced by Principal Flutie to go to a therapist. And while she's waiting, she overhears Cordelia's session, where Cordelia's literally saying, like, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I haven't eaten since I saw the body, and I think I've lost a couple pounds. Like, seeing this dead body helped me lose more weight than the medication my doctor's giving me. I'm not saying I want to see a dead body every day, but maybe this is a dieting craze. And then she immediately starts trying to backtrack it, and Buffy's just like, what the fuck is she saying? That scene always makes me laugh. And I love how Principal Flutie, while taking Buffy, is like, you need a heal. And sometimes everybody just needs a hug, but not a real hug. I'm not going to touch you. We don't do that at the school. But you need... It's just like... He is the most interesting character. I don't understand why he didn't last longer, because he's so out there and weird that it's just kind of brilliant. Don't get me wrong, I love Snyder. I'm so glad they replaced him with Snyder. But there's something about Principal Flutie that I do kind of love. He's such an odd guy. Like, really, really odd. But the night before, in between the finding the body and Cordelia's therapy session, Buffy goes hunting for the Hook guy, thinking maybe he's the one who killed the teacher. Even though there's speculation already that it could be two different creatures, which it turns out to be. And so a homeless guy immediately warns Buffy, like, you shouldn't be here. But Buffy ignores him and finds the Hook guy, and they fight. And then they're interrupted by police, because it turns out the homeless dude is a cop, and they're looking for the person who murdered somebody there the night before, which was the Hook guy. So the Hook guy and Buffy split up, and then Buffy tries to track him down again, and he sees Mrs. French and runs scared. And Buffy's like, why is he scared of a teacher? That's weird. And so that brings us to the next day, where the counseling session. So after the counseling session, she makes it to class, and the lady turns her head a full 180. Immediately, like, this is weird. So Buffy knows it's an insect. It's some kind of insect. Giles has a colleague that might know something, so he starts trying to find him. Buffy and Willow starts researching, and they realize Blaine, who had a one-on-one meeting with her the night before, never showed up for school. So Buffy tracks down Xander and tries to warn him. And Xander blows her off, calls her jealous, and kind of projects all these feelings that he's feeling himself onto her. Because the whole episode kind of keeps reiterating that Xander feels unappreciated. He feels kind of unwanted, unloved. It's hard to be that age and feel like everybody else is where they're supposed to be and you're lagging behind. And that's very much what Xander's dealing with. And I don't think that goes away after you leave high school. I think that's a feeling you kind of feel forever. Shit, I'm a grown-ass man and I feel it. Most of my friends are getting married and all that. And I just occasionally have psychotic relationships. So, I mean, I don't think that's a feeling that ever goes away. That you're not where you're supposed to be in life. But you got to just keep reminding yourself, and it's easier with time and experience, that you're not competing against other people. You're kind of just competing against yourself. And just because you feel like you should be at a certain place in life doesn't necessarily mean you are. As long as you're doing more today towards what you want in life than you were yesterday, I think you're doing pretty good. And life is full of setbacks, and you can't let setbacks define who you are. But that's easier to understand with experience and time than when you're, what are they, like 16 years old? And that's very much what this episode is all about, is Xander trying to compete with where he thinks she should be in life. It's such a ludicrous idea, but it's something that we all experience. It's very human. So, Xander just kind of blows her off, and he goes and he meets with Miss Blaine. He goes and meets with Miss French, who, just before he shows up, is eating crickets just like Goliath. Now, that's great for Goliath. He's a bearded dragon, but a human being. Although, apparently, there's this thing where they're trying to get people to eat crickets instead of cows. Apparently, it provides almost as much protein. I mean, you have to eat a lot more, but it provides the same amount of protein and is better for the environment. But I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I can do that. I'd much rather find a veggie burgers that taste like the real thing, and just move in that route. I think that's where we as humanity should go. If we're gonna give up eating animals, I think we should give up eating all animals. I don't think insects' lives are less valid than mammal lives. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I eat meat, but I also think human beings are part of the natural chain of food. So why wouldn't we eat other meat? But if ideally, when we move on to a utopian society, which I hope we eventually get to, we should give up eating meat as part of that progression, I would imagine. But in doing so, instead of eating insects, why don't we find plant-based food and make it taste like things we want to eat? I think that's the goal. It's a weird tangent that'd be more appropriate on a Star Trek episode than a Buffy episode. I apologize. But I don't know if I'm ready to eat crickets, I guess is the point that I'm getting at. But Miss French tells Xander that she has a teacher meeting and she forgot some of the stuff at home, and she hopes he doesn't hate her, but if he could come and meet at her house that evening. And Xander's just like, okay, yeah. So he gets there, and she is wearing like a cocktail dress and offering him a martini. Straight trying to seduce this student. What are we watching? The Graduate? It's insane. And the martini is clearly drugged because he's immediately hallucinating, talking about how much he loves Buffy, and then just passes out. All the while, he keeps hearing Blaine scream for help, and he's like, is that someone screaming? And she's like, oh, you're so handsome, and yada yada. And then he's like, oh, your hands are so... And he's about to say soft, and then it turns into praying mantis hands, and he's like, serrating. This is another throwaway episode, but for me, it's always been one of the funnier episodes of season one. Like, some of the jokes are just so kind of out there. I love it. If you're gonna do an irrelevant episode, this is how you do it. It's brilliant. It doesn't add to the overarching story, but it narrows in on a character. It helps us understand that person better. And it's funny. It's entertaining. It gets you like, oh, I'm hooked. I'm in. I do really like this episode. Xander wakes up next to Blaine, who's like, she's going to mate with us. And Xander's like, okay. And he's like, that's not the worst part. And he's like, okay. And she's like, it just bites off your head. Oh. It's wild. Buffy tells Giles to record bat sonar, and then she starts looking for it. They go to Miss French's house, and she's an old retired lady. Turns out the she-mantis stole this lady's identity. Giles got on the phone with his colleague, finds out exactly what it is. That's where we get the she-mantis name from. He faced her before going insane and ending up in an asylum. So then Buffy comes up with the idea of, I'm going to go find the Hook vampire and use him to lead us to her because he's afraid of her. And it works. But when it gets to the house, he breaks free. They fight. She slays him. Xander's about to be mated. I don't know why she skipped Blaine and went straight to Xander. Maybe because Blaine was damn near crying. But Buffy breaks in at the last moment, right before Xander's mated with, fights the she-mantis, and then this is my favorite part. And I'm just going to play this clip and everything because she's like, this is going to fuck up your nervous system. And then she plays this.
Like what happens to your nervous system when you hear this.
Extremely important to file, not simply alphabetically.
Giles!
Every time I see that scene, I just die laughing. It's such a stupid joke. It should not work nearly as well on me as it does, but every single time it makes me laugh. I'm such an easy audience. I'm sorry. But eventually they get the actual bat sonar sound and it distracts her, and then Buffy slices and dices, frees them. Blaine and Xander are so happy to be safe. Willow lets it slip that they only go after virgins. Blaine threatens to sue them if they ever tell anyone he's a virgin. Xander picks up the machete and just starts hacking those eggs so that it doesn't happen again. They get a new teacher at school. Everything seems to be going. Buffy offers to give Angel back his jacket because he gave it to earlier, and he's like, nah, it looks better on you. Everything's happy-go-lucky. Everything's perfect. Buffy picks up the glasses, puts in his jacket, and closes the door to the old teacher's closet. And inside we see a few more eggs, one hatching. Now the last episode I said they weren't intending to set things up for the future, but inadvertently did. This episode they were kind of setting up that this is going to be a problem in the future and then never deal with it or address it again. It's the first time in this season where they set something up and just kind of abandoned it. Early in the episode they said it takes a couple months for the eggs to hatch. So by the end of the season, they should have hatched. There should have been something to do with it, but it's never mentioned again. I understand. What are you going to do the same storyline again? You're going to have Buffy fight a bunch of mantises. But there could have been something throwaway that they could have fought and killed the eggs or something like that. But it's just never touched on again. I guess, ideally, these eggs hatch and then they leave the school and go to other places in the world, which is probably what happened. It is something that's left dangling and then never acknowledged. But overall, I really like this episode. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it has some real memorable parts. It's clearly a filler episode, but like I said, it does what a filler episode is supposed to do. It advances the story of characters. It dives into who Xander is. But anyways, I'm Jonathan. Till next time, give us legends.